what if the real difference between someone who fades at 70 and someone who is still walking, thinking clearly, and enjoying life at 95 has less to do with luck and far more to do with what happens in the first hour of the day? For decades, scientists around the world have tracked massive populations trying to answer one central question: why do some people age slowly while others decline rapidly after midlife? Long-term observational research from institutions such as Harvard University, along with large population analyses published in journals like the British Medical Journal, consistently point to a powerful conclusion. Daily habits outweigh genetics for most people. While DNA certainly plays a role, it typically accounts for only a fraction of lifespan variation. The majority of how long and how well you live is shaped by repeated behaviors, and the morning hours appear to be one of the most influential windows in the entire day. In longevity hotspots such as Okinawa, researchers studying centenarians noticed something fascinating. These individuals did not rely on expensive supplements, cutting-edge procedures, or extreme fitness programs. Instead, they followed remarkably simple morning patterns for decades. Their rituals were consistent, calming, purposeful, and physically activating without being exhausting. European cardiovascular research groups, including findings presented through the European Society of Cardiology, have also shown that structured lifestyle behaviors, particularly those influencing stress, movement, and metabolic health early in the day, significantly reduce heart disease risk, the world's leading cause of death. So instead of dramatic promises or unrealistic claims, let's break this down into 7 evidence-supported morning behaviors that, when practiced consistently, create measurable long-term benefits. Think of these not as quick fixes but as biological signals. Every morning, you are either sending your body a signal of resilience and repair, or stress and decline. First, hydration with intention. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is mildly dehydrated. Blood becomes slightly thicker, circulation slows, and cellular processes are not yet fully optimized. Beginning your day with a glass of warm water, with or without fresh lemon, gently reactivates digestion, supports circulation, and helps flush metabolic waste. Citrus adds vitamin C and plant compounds that support vascular health and immune resilience. More importantly, the act of hydrating immediately reinforces a pattern of conscious self-care. It is a small action, but small actions done daily compound over years. Second, early light exposure. Your brain contains a master clock that regulates hormones, metabolism, immune function, and sleep cycles. Morning natural light, even on cloudy days, anchors that clock. Exposure within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking helps regulate cortisol in a healthy rhythm, supports nighttime melatonin release, and improves sleep depth. Strong sleep is not just about feeling rested. It is when cellular repair, toxin clearance in the brain, and tissue regeneration peak. Poor circadian alignment has been associated with increased risks of metabolic disease, depression, cardiovascular illness, and cognitive decline. Stepping outside for 10 to 20 minutes in the morning may look simple, but biologically it is a powerful reset. Third, prioritizing protein early in the day. After age 50, muscle mass naturally declines in a process known as sarcopenia. Loss of muscle is not cosmetic. It predicts frailty, falls, fractures, insulin resistance, and early mortality. Research in clinical nutrition shows that distributing protein intake evenly, especially consuming adequate protein at breakfast, better stimulates muscle protein synthesis compared to loading it all at dinner. Eggs, Greek yogurt, legumes, nuts, seeds, or other high-quality protein sources provide amino acids that signal your body to preserve lean tissue. Muscle acts as a metabolic organ. It regulates blood sugar, supports joint stability, and maintains independence in later decades. Fourth, gentle mobility work. Stiffness is not just uncomfortable. It reflects connective tissue changes and often parallels vascular stiffness. Light stretching, mobility drills, or slow yoga sequences in the morning enhance circulation, reduce joint discomfort, and improve balance. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury-related death in older adults. A 10 to 15-minute routine focusing on hips, spine, shoulders, and ankles can significantly improve functional movement. Additionally, mindful movement reduces inflammatory markers associated with chronic disease. You are not training for performance, you are training for durability. Fifth, moderate cardiovascular activity. Brisk walking, cycling, swimming, or low-impact aerobic exercise performed consistently improves insulin sensitivity, lowers blood pressure, enhances lipid profiles, and increases blood flow to the brain. Large population studies repeatedly show that moderate exercisers outlive both sedentary individuals and extreme overtrainers. The goal is sustainability, 20 to 30 minutes of movement that elevates your breathing but still allows conversation appears to strike the ideal longevity balance. Done in the morning, it also increases adherence because fewer interruptions compete for your time. Sixth, structured mental stillness. Meditation, breathing exercises, or structured mindfulness practices influence biology more deeply than many people realize. Research into cellular aging, including work associated with Nobel Prize winning scientist Elizabeth Blackburn, has explored how stress reduction practices may influence telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of chromosomes linked with biological aging. Chronic stress accelerates telomere shortening. Regular meditation has been associated with improved telomere maintenance, lower cortisol levels, and reduced systemic inflammation. Even 5 to 10 minutes of focused breathing shifts your nervous system from fight or flight toward repair mode. Over years, that shift matters enormously. Finally, and perhaps most powerfully, cultivating purpose and gratitude. Psychological orientation influences physiological health. Individuals with a strong sense of meaning consistently show lower mortality risk, reduced incidence of Alzheimer's disease, and better cardiovascular outcomes. Having a reason to get out of bed, whether it is family, service, creativity, learning, faith, or community, strengthens resilience against stress and illness. Gratitude practices such as mentally listing 3 things you appreciate each morning have been linked to reduced inflammatory markers and improved emotional stability. Purpose regulates behavior. People who feel needed and engaged are more likely to move, eat well, connect socially, and seek preventive care. When these 7 elements are combined, they create synergy. Hydration supports circulation. Light regulates hormones. Protein preserves muscle. Mobility protects joints. Cardio strengthens the heart. Meditation calms cellular stress. Purpose fuels consistency. None of these habits are extreme, none require expensive equipment, but together they shape metabolic health, cardiovascular resilience, cognitive protection, and emotional stability across decades. The most important takeaway is not perfection, it is repetition. Longevity is rarely built through dramatic transformation. It is built through ordinary mornings repeated thousands of times. Imagine 2 individuals at age 55. One wakes up rushed, dehydrated, stressed, sedentary, and distracted. The other hydrates, steps outside, moves gently, eats protein, breathes deeply, and reminds themselves why the day matters. Multiply that difference by 10,000 mornings. The gap in biological aging becomes enormous. You do not need to adopt all 7 tomorrow. Start with 1. Layer another next week. Over months, build a rhythm that feels natural rather than forced. The science of aging increasingly confirms that lifespan is flexible within limits. While no routine guarantees 100 years, consistent lifestyle patterns dramatically shift probabilities in your favor. Your first hour tomorrow morning is not trivial. It is a biological steering wheel. Turn it slightly in the direction of repair, strength, and meaning, and keep turning it every day. Decades from now, the compounding effect may be the difference between merely surviving into old age and truly thriving there. Let us go even deeper because understanding why these morning behaviors work makes you far more likely to stick with them for life. When scientists analyze long-term aging data from large populations, including cohorts observed through institutions like Harvard University and findings published in the British Medical Journal, a clear pattern appears. The people who age well are not the ones who rely on extreme interventions. They are the ones who minimize daily biological stress while maximizing daily biological repair. And the most powerful repair signals are triggered early in the day. Your body wakes up in a transitional state. Cortisol naturally rises to help you become alert. Blood sugar shifts. Blood pressure climbs. Your nervous system moves from sleep mode into action mode. What you do during this window either stabilizes these transitions or exaggerates them. If you immediately check stressful messages, skip hydration, avoid movement, and rush into your day, you amplify stress chemistry. Over years, that repeated amplification accelerates inflammation, insulin resistance, and vascular stiffness. But if you instead hydrate, expose yourself to natural light, move gently, breathe deeply, and mentally center yourself, you regulate those stress hormones instead of spiking them. Regulation, not elimination of stress, is the true key to longevity. Let's expand further on how stacking these habits multiplies their power. When you hydrate and step outside into morning light at the same time, You are supporting circulation and circadian rhythm together. Improved blood flow ensures oxygen and nutrients reach tissues efficiently. Proper circadian alignment improves nighttime growth hormone release, which is essential for tissue repair. That means your body rebuilds better while you sleep. When you follow light exposure with mobility work, you enhance synovial fluid movement in your joints. This lubrication effect reduces stiffness and protects cartilage. At the same time, stretching activates parasympathetic nervous system pathways, lowering heart rate and blood pressure slightly. You're telling your body, we are safe, we are stable. Chronic disease thrives in a body that constantly feels under threat. Longevity thrives in a body that feels regulated. Now consider protein intake combined with morning exercise. Resistance or moderate aerobic activity sensitizes muscle cells to amino acids. When protein is consumed afterward, muscle repair signals intensify. This is critical because muscle is strongly correlated with survival in older adults. Studies consistently show that grip strength alone predicts mortality risk. Stronger individuals live longer, not because of appearance, but because muscle supports metabolic health, bone density, and fall prevention. Then comes meditation or mindfulness layered onto this foundation. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are necessary in short bursts, but harmful when elevated chronically. Persistent elevation increases abdominal fat storage, weakens immune response, and damages blood vessels. Mindfulness practices have been associated with improved emotional regulation and healthier inflammatory profiles. Research into telomere biology, including work by Elizabeth Blackburn, suggests that chronic psychological stress accelerates telomere shortening, while stress reduction may slow that process. While meditation is not magic, it is a measurable biological intervention when practiced consistently. Now let us expand on purpose, because this may be the most underestimated longevity driver of all. In regions such as Okinawa, centenarians often speak about having a reason to wake up each day. This concept, often described culturally as having a meaningful role or contribution, keeps individuals socially connected and mentally engaged. Social isolation, by contrast, has been compared in risk magnitude to smoking. Humans are biologically wired for connection and contribution. When purpose declines, physical health often follows. Neurologically, purpose activates reward pathways in the brain, increasing dopamine in healthy ranges. Psychologically, it improves resilience against depression. Behaviorally, it encourages healthier daily choices. Someone who believes their presence matters is more likely to walk, eat well, attend medical appointments, and remain socially active. Purpose influences habits, and habits influence lifespan. Another overlooked factor is morning emotional tone. The first thoughts you rehearse daily become dominant neural pathways over time. If your first mental input is fear, anger, or comparison, you reinforce stress loops. If your first mental input is gratitude or intention, you reinforce stability loops. Neuroplasticity. Your brain's ability to rewire itself does not disappear with age. It continues throughout life. What you repeatedly think becomes easier to think. Over 30 years, that shapes personality, relationships, and health outcomes. There is also a metabolic advantage to early movement and structured mornings. Morning exercise improves glucose uptake by muscles, reducing blood sugar spikes after meals. Stable blood sugar reduces glycation damage, a process where excess sugar binds to proteins and accelerates aging of tissues. This damage affects skin, blood vessels, kidneys, and the brain. A simple brisk walk in the morning may therefore indirectly protect multiple organs. Consistency remains the theme tying all of this together. You cannot meditate intensely for a week and expect decades of benefit. You cannot exercise aggressively for a month and undo years of inactivity. Longevity responds to rhythm. The human body evolved under predictable cycles of light, movement, rest, and social interaction. Modern life disrupts those cycles. A structured morning routine restores them. Imagine your morning as a control panel with 7 switches: hydration, light, protein, mobility, cardio, stillness, purpose. Each switch turned on sends a signal of repair. The more switches activated daily, the stronger the cumulative signal. Over 10 years, those signals influence blood vessels, mitochondria, hormones, brain structure, and immune response. It is also important to clarify something realistic. Longevity is not just about adding years to life, but adding life to years. Living to 95 without mobility, cognition, or independence is not the goal. The goal is extended health span, the number of years you remain functional and vibrant. Morning habits disproportionately affect health span because they influence inflammation, metabolic stability, and cognitive preservation. Another crucial factor is momentum. When you win the first hour of your day, you are more likely to make aligned decisions later. A structured morning reduces decision fatigue. It creates psychological momentum. That momentum makes healthy eating, patient communication, and stress management easier throughout the afternoon and evening. If you are over 50, the urgency is greater, but it is never too late. Studies show that individuals who adopt healthier habits even in their 60s and 70s still experience measurable reductions in mortality risk. The body retains remarkable capacity for adaptation. Start simple tomorrow. Wake, drink water, step outside, move gently, eat protein, breathe deeply, reflect on purpose. 10 minutes can become 20, 20 can become 40. Over time, it stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. You are no longer trying to live longer. You are simply living intentionally. And here is the deeper truth. The difference between someone who declines rapidly and someone who remains strong into advanced age is rarely dramatic. It is rarely about one breakthrough discovery. It is about small, repeatable behaviors compounded daily for decades. The first hour after you wake up is not ordinary time. It is biological leverage. Use it wisely, and the dividends may last the rest of your life.